bells of the cathedral ring at midnight with grace. They've been ringing for centuries in this haunted place. I've laid awake listening to that lonesome sound since the night that you left me without a word, without a sound. They say that the bells call the souls that are strayed back toward salvation before it's too late. But I'm lying here wondering if they're calling for you. If somewhere out there you can hear them ring true. Church bells at midnight, 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 tolling out sorrow in the dead of the night. Your memory's ringing like the chimes that don't stop. Church bells at midnight will not let me be. Midnight, midnight, every bell that I hear is another reminder that you're not here. My grandmother told me when she was alive that the bells could make miracles if you believed with your mind. So I prayed every evening when that clock would strike 12 that somehow, some way you'd come back to yourself. But the bells kept on ringing and you never came back. And I learned that the bells just mark time on the track that circles and circles but doesn't go forward, just keeps on reminding us of what we've endured. There's a woman who comes to the church every night. She sits in the dark listening to the bells ring so bright, and she cries silent tears that the candles can't see. And I know that she's grieving someone just like me. We never speak words, we just sit side by side, two broken halves trying not to divide, listening to the bells at the stroke of the witching hour, finding some kind of solace in that ringing power. These bells were rung for joy, and they were rung for prayer. They were rung for weddings and for bodies they'd bear to the ground for the resting. And now they ring for us, for all of the broken who've learned not to trust. I'm an old woman now, and I still wake at 12 to that sound of the bells, and I sit by myself and I think about him, and I think about time, how it moves like the bell, swinging back and forward in rhyme. And I know that someday when my time comes to end, my soul will be guided by these bells once again, back toward the grace that we're looking to find, back toward the peace that I left far behind. Church bells at midnight, 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 tolling out sorrow the dead of the night, your memories are ringing like the chimes that don't stop. Church bells at midnight will not let me be. Midnight, midnight, every bell that I hear is another reminder that you're not here. I've got a box of photographs beneath my bed of mourning, sepia-toned memories of a love that's turned to warning. Your face is getting fainter every time I take a look. You're becoming just an illustration in a sadness book. There's one from summer 1936. You're standing in the sun. Your smile is bright and hopeful. You look like we'd have fun. There's one from autumn later, when the leaves were turning gold. I can see the first cracks forming in the story we were told. Faded photographs, you're stealing my tomorrow, taking all the sharpness and replacing it with sorrow. Faded photographs, you're fading just like him. Every year a little more, until you're merely thin. The one that hurts the most is dated Christmas 1939. We're dancing at the ballroom and the world was still divine. I can barely see his face now. It's like fog upon the glass, just a suggestion of the happiness, a shadow of the past. The photographs remind me that all beautiful things die. Even memories grow cloudy, even colors turn to gray. I tried to store them properly, in darkness, in the dry, but time has its own methods and refuses to comply. The edges curl and crumble, the ink has started to fade, just like the man I loved in a photograph I've made. I wonder if he has a box of photographs too. Does he look at me sometimes? Does he wonder what I do? Or have his photographs turned blank, completely washed away? Has he forgotten me as thoroughly as I've watched him decay? Sometimes I take them out and try to superglue the tears, try to press them back together, try to salvage all the years. But photographs don't work that way. Once damage has begun, you can't make something whole again just by joining seams as one. So I sit here with my box of fading memories and pain, watching all the color leaching from the sunshine and the rain. Soon they'll be completely blank, these windows to the past. And maybe then my heartbreak too will finally not last. Faded photographs, you're stealing my tomorrow, taking all the sharpness and replacing it with sorrow. Faded photographs, you're fading just like him. Every year a little more, until you're merely thin. I'm painting on my lipstick in the mirror late at night, a shade of red that says I'm doing fine despite the blight of all the lies you've told me, all the promises you broke. My lipstick is a testimony to the woman I've invoked. I draw the line along my lips so carefully and true, while all my life is chaos, and it's all because of you. The lipstick makes me beautiful, the lipstick makes me whole, at least on the surface where the mirrors cannot scroll. Lipstick and lies, I'm painting on a smile. Lipstick and lies have kept me going all the while. Lipstick and lies, a mask I wear at night to pretend that I'm fine, to pretend that I'm alright. I leave my lipstick marks upon the rim of every glass, a signature of sadness written on the past. They find me at the table in the morning light of day, a smudge of red and broken dreams I couldn't wash away. The lies are getting thicker, and my lipstick has to match the deepness of the deception, and each truth I have to catch. I tell myself you love me while I'm lining up my lips. I tell myself that maybe it was just a false trip, that you'll come back and claim me, that you'll say you always care, while I'm applying lipstick to this sad and weary glare. The shade becomes a darker red as years go slowly by, a deepening of color to match the deepening of lies. I'm lying to myself now more than you could ever lie. The lipstick is a crimson mask across my weary eyes. lipstick to the dances, to the bars, to the shows, to every place that love could come. And I could pretend it knows that I'm a woman worthy of the beauty that I feign, that underneath this lipstick is a heart that's not in pain. But mirrors don't lie like I do. They reflect the truth back clear. A woman made of lipstick and of year upon year of painted smiles and broken faith and lies stacked high like layers of the lipstick that I apply. One day I'll stop applying it, one day I'll let it fade. I'll let the world see clearly all the damage that I've made. But not today, not yet. I need this mask a little while. I need the lipstick and the lies to help me smile. So I keep on applying it each evening that I go to meet the world and pretend that nobody will know that underneath this lipstick is a woman barely there. That lipstick and lies are all I have to spare. Lipstick and lies, I'm painting on a smile. Lipstick and lies have kept me going all the while. Lipstick and lies, a mask I wear at night to pretend that I'm fine, to pretend that I'm all right. There's a phonograph in the parlor collecting the dust, with a stack of old records and a spiral of rust. I wind up the mechanism with a key that still turns, and I play all the music that my mother has burned. The voices come scratching through the home made of wood, singing songs about love like they still thought they should. But the world is kept changing and the records stay still, playing out their melodies with a permanent will. Old phonograph, old phonograph, playing yesterday's dreams with a sound that is warbled and bursting at the seams. You're playing my heartbreak in a voice not my own. Old phonograph, taking me back home. My father bought this for my mother on their wedding day. He said, this music will help us never stray away from the love that that we're promising now. But the music kept playing while the love took a bow. I remember their dancing in the parlor so bright before the arguments started late every night. But the phonograph kept playing without any cares, all the songs about forever echoing through the stairs. I put on the record that was playing that night when Daddy walked out and he never came back quite the same way he was before the war. And the pain, the music still playing through the heartbreak and the strain. And I'm listening to every word, every sound of a world that's long gone, a life that unwound. And I'm wondering if music can capture the truth, or if it's just lies we tell about our youth. The phonograph don't judge, and it don't hold a grudge. It just plays what you ask it and waits for the judge of time to decide if the music was right, if the love it was singing about made sense in the light. Now my children all have these new devices with sound. They don't understand why I keep winding around this old machine just to hear a song play, when they've got all the music of the world at their say. But there's something in the scratching and the warmth of the tone that tells me I'm not entirely alone, that all of the people who've listened before are singing their sorrow through this phonograph's door. Old phonograph, old phonograph, playing yesterday's dreams with a sound that is warbled and bursting at the seams. In a voice not my own. Old phonograph, old phonograph, taking me back home. Walking down the avenue where the lampposts glow like gold. Rain is falling heavy and it's cutting through the cold. Every step I'm taking echoes on the wet stone street, counting all the promises we'll never get to keep. There's a drugstore corner where we used to meet at 3. Soda fountain talking about the way things were meant to be. But but the rain keeps falling, and it's washing out his name from the sidewalk where he wrote it in that beautiful shame. Rain on the avenue, washing everything away. The words he wrote in pencil, they're fading into gray. I've got a ticket nowhere, and a coat that's wearing thin, and these shoes keep moving, though I don't know where I've been. Rain on the avenue, it sounds like it understands how it feels to fall like water slipping through your hands. The newsboys calling headlines I don't wanna hear, while the rain keeps falling like it's crystal clear, that I'm just one more shadow in a city full of shame, and he's already dancing with someone else's name. Let it pour, let it flood, let it take me down below, where the things that hurt don't matter and the broken rivers flow. I could drown so easy in this downpour from above. Seems so much more honest than this longing kind of love. By the time the morning comes, the rain will have its scent, washed down into the sewers where all the wasted love is sent. I'll be moving forward, though my heart's turned into stone, standing in the daylight, but I'll never be less alone. Rain on the avenue, washing everything away. The words he wrote in pencil, they're fading into gray. I've got a ticket nowhere, and a coat that's wearing thin, and these shoes keep moving, though I don't know where I've been. Rain on the avenue, it sounds like it understands how it feels to fall like water slipping through your hands. You told me at the gate that this would have to be the end. You said that you were sorry, but that you could not pretend. The autumn wind was blowing, and it carried away your words like they were just as fragile as a flight of frightened birds. I watched you through the iron bars as you walked away from me. I couldn't pass beyond them, even though I wanted free. The gate was locked between us. It had always been right there. We just pretended that it didn't separate our air. Goodbye at the gate. I watched watch you disappear into the horizon where the shadows leer. Goodbye at the gate, I turn and walk away, but every step I'm turning back to where you stay. The gate closes behind me with a finality of sound. I'm on the other side now, but I'm still tied to the ground where you were standing, where you spoke your final word, where I was standing silent like a broken winged bird. The iron between us was symbolic all along. We were never together, we were never truly strong. I walk back to the gate sometime, check if it's still locked. I stand here at the entrance where our futures came unrocked. I look through at the pathway where I last saw your face, and try to find within myself any trace of grace. There's others at the gate now, saying their goodbyes too. I wonder if they're feeling what I'm feeling, if it's true that love is just a series of goodbyes at various gates, and we're all just standing on the threshold of our fates. The seasons change around the gate, the weather comes and goes, the iron stays forever. That's the only thing it knows, to hold its shape, to separate, to make a boundary clear between the ones who go and those who stay, and those who fear. I've memorized the pattern of the gate's elaborate frame. I've traced every bar with my fingers and spoke your name. I've stood here so long waiting that I've almost turned to rust. I'm part of the scenery now, I'm part of the gate's crust. One day I finally walk away and not look back again, but not today and not tomorrow. I'm uncertain when the gate will let me go completely, let me finally move on from this goodbye that keeps repeating like a song. Goodbye at the gate, I watch you disappear into the horizon where the shadows leer. Goodbye at the gate, I turn and walk away, but every step I'm turning back to where you stay. There's a rose garden in the back of a mansion that nobody's lived in for 30 years. The roses have grown wild and untended, Their beauty has turned into something fierce. They've broken through the fences, through the benches, where lovers used to sit and steal a kiss. Now they're just a wall of thorns and stenches, of decay that's taken root in all of this. Rose garden in ruins, beauty gone to seed, strangled by the very thing it needs. The roses grew too wild, too uncontrolled, too desperate, too violent, too bold. Rose garden in ruins, overgrown with a love that's turned to stone. I used to live in that mansion with a man who swore he'd love me till the day he died. We'd walk through that rose garden hand in hand, and he'd tell me secrets underneath the sky. The roses were so perfect, so well tended, so arranged to show a kind of grace. But perfection is something I've learned is ended by the nature of the human race. He wanted everything to be just so, the garden organized, the roses in line, the way I should be, the way I should show, a kind of beauty that was false, not mine. One day I let the gardener go. I told my husband I was done with this. The roses turned wild, began to grow, untended, free, breaking into bliss. The thing about roses is that they're predators. They'll take over anything given space. They'll strangle every other flower, every cedar. They'll consume the garden at a frantic pace. And once you've let them loose, you can't contain them. They'll grow through walls, they'll grow through stone. They'll remember what they were meant to be. They'll transform the garden. They'll overthrow. My husband left when the roses took over. He said I'd made a mockery of home. He took a new wife, young and sober, and left me to the garden, left me alone. I watched those roses grow for years. I let them consume every single thing. The benches rotted, fell into decay, and I became something wild, something strange. One day I was looking at the garden, and I realized I had never been more free. Never had I felt my heart soften to the chaos and the wild beauty. The roses had destroyed the perfection, but they had created something new, a kind of brutal, honest reflection of what we are when nothing's left but truth. Now young lovers come to the mansion, They think the rose garden's romantic wild. They pick the thorns and break a hand on the beauty that can no longer be styled. I wanna warn them, wanna tell them that beauty and violence are the same, that roses will eventually compel them to either love the chaos or be tame. Rose garden in ruins, growing wild forevermore. The pastor held me under for a moment that seemed to stretch into forever. And I thought maybe I could finally drown here and never have to breathe again. No, never. The river was so cold and so forgiving. It wrapped around me like a shroud. I let myself believe in the giving of a new life, pure and shrouded. River baptism washed me clean of every lie that I have been. Take me down to the muddy floor. Let me be myself no more. River baptism in your arms, free me from this world's alarms. Let me rise a different soul, broken, shattered, finally whole. The church had gathered on the muddy banks to watch me shed my sinful ways. I had repented in those wooden bleachers for 37 wasted years of days. I swore I'd been a good woman, no more lying, no more staying with a man who hit. But the river knew the truth of my denying and pulled me deeper into the abyss, bit by bit. When they pulled me up, I gasped for air like being born, but backwards into pain. The sun was blinding after being under, where there was nothing but the dark refrain. I stood there dripping, everyone was watching, expecting me to be transformed, made new. But I felt the same woman, still the same rotten, with the same lies, the same abuse that's true. The thing about baptism is that water can't wash away what's in your soul. You can pray and drown and ask the martyr to make you something that you're not whole. The river doesn't care about redemption. It flows toward the sea, regardless of your prayer. It offers no absolution, no exemption from the fact that you're just a human lying there. That man was waiting for me after church. He had that look upon his face that said, I know you think you're better now, but I'm still here, still taking up your space. And I went with him like I always did, back to that house, that room, that bed. The baptism faded and I hid the bruises on the long sleeves. I was dead. But something changed inside of me that day when I went under in that muddy water. A seed was planted or a thought away of seeing that I didn't have to falter. I started planning as the seasons changed. I saved up money in a can beneath the floor. I realized nothing had to stay arranged, that a river could give me strength to walk out that door. I left that man one morning before dawn. I took the bus and never looked behind. The river had baptized me not in heaven, but in the knowledge of my stronger mind. I wasn't born again in a religious manner, but I was born again in another way. I found myself in that muddy water, and I found the strength to finally live, to stay. River baptism, carrying me toward the sea. Finally, finally, finally free. Brought me roses on our last night together. Said the color of them matched the color of forever. But the roses were already dying in the vase, and I saw the truth of us written on their face. I watched the petals falling as the week was moving on. Watched the green stem turning brown, watched the beauty gone. Each petal was a promise that you failed to keep. Each dying rose a memory too painful for sleep. Dying roses, dying roses, rotten in the vase. Beautiful for just a moment, then decay erases grace. Dying roses, dying roses, that's the way we are. We burn so bright and pretty, then we're left here with our scars. Dying roses, dying roses, teaching me to see that the most beautiful things die, and that includes the thing with you and me. I could have thrown them out there when the petals started to fall, but I kept them as a symbol of the way we tried it all. to be something that was lasting, to be something that was true. But the dying of the roses showed me that it's through. Some things aren't meant to last beyond a week or two. Some things are just gorgeous and their brevity's truth. So I'll cherish all the dying of these roses that you gave, and I'll watch them turn to nothing, watch them make their grave. Now there's nothing in the vase but water turning brown, and the ghost of what was beautiful is lying on the ground. I could get new flowers, I could try it all again, but I'd rather remember dying roses than pretend. So I'll let you go like petals, let you fall away from me, let you teach me beauty's lesson in impermanency. And I'll smile through the dying of the thing we had so brief, 'cause the roses showed me how to live with broken grief. Dying roses, dying roses, rotting in the vase. Beautiful for just a moment, then decay erases grace. Dying roses, dying roses, that's the way we are. We burn so bright and pretty, then we're left here with our scars. Dying roses, dying roses, teaching me to see that the most beautiful things die, and that includes the thing with you and me. The neon signs are burning bright against the velvet black. Pink and purple, gold and red, they're lighting up the track. I'm walking down the boulevard in my best dress and heels, trying to convince my body that the heartbreak isn't real. There's a cigarette between my lips, the smoke is curling up. I'm sipping at a cocktail in a crystalline cup. The neon reflects off my skin, turns me into something strange, a creature born of longing and of necessary change. Neon and cigarettes, that's my love affair. The only thing that's constant in this cold and hostile air. Neon and cigarettes, burning through the night. Two addictions in a symphony of artificial light. The diner sign is sizzling, a 50-foot display of everything that's temporary in a transitory way. I take a seat at the counter, order coffee black and hot, and watch the neon pulse outside like my forgotten heart. The cigarette smoke mingles with the glow of colored fire, and I become something weightless, something born of pure desire. There's a bartender mixing drinks beneath the flickering sign. His face is made of shadow and regret and aged wine. He doesn't ask my story, doesn't care about my pain. He just keeps filling glasses while the neon glows insane. I watch the reflection in the window of the bar. The woman staring back is someone I don't know. The neon makes her beautiful, the cigarette makes her cool. The loneliness that's burning is the fire, I'm the fuel. I used to think that love was like the soft and gentle dawn, but now I know it's neon, burning every night and on, relentless and electric, searing through your very core. And I'll keep walking toward it, always wanting something more. The cigarette burns down until it's nearly at my hand. I stub it out against the bar and make my final stand. But there's another one already waiting to be lit. And neon signs already calling, I can't quite resist. Neon and cigarettes, that's my love affair. The only thing that's constant in this cold and hostile air. Neon and cigarettes burning through the night. Two addictions in a symphony of artificial light. Masquerade ball, a face that is beautiful, but not me at all. I'm dancing with strangers who are equally veiled, and nobody knows that my heart has been failed. The band plays a waltz and the dancers move close. They're hiding behind masks, they're performing their ghost of the person they wish that they could be tonight. In the dim candlelit darkness, beneath the soft light. Masquerade ball, where nobody's true. We're all wearing faces that hide what we do. Masquerade ball, the perfect place to hide all my heartbreak behind this false face. I see you across the ballroom, dressed in silver and blue. For a moment I think that you're looking at me too. But it's impossible to know behind your masked if you're seeing or hiding. I'm afraid to ask. The masks are a metaphor for how we live our lives. We're all masquerading. We're all in disguise. The midnight bell rings, and we're supposed to unmask. But I'm terrified of revealing what lies beneath my task. So I sneak out the back door before the unmasking time, and I run through the darkness trying to escape this crime. My mask stays upon my face all the way home, a permanent disguise that I wear all alone. The masquerade ball is just a single night, but I've been wearing masks for my entire life. I wonder if everyone is running from themselves too, if everyone's exhausted from pretending what they do, if everyone's afraid of being known at all, if everyone would rather just attend another masquerade ball. The ball becomes a metaphor for all the love I've known, lovers who love the mask but never love the bone. Beneath the surface, never wanted to see the real me, just the illusion that I've carefully choreographed to be. One day I'll find a person who wants to unmask me, who wants to see the real woman underneath this tragedy. But I've been masked so long, I'm not sure I remember her, the authentic person beneath the glitter and the fur. So I keep attending masquerade balls year after year, hoping that tonight might be different. Someone might care to see the real me, to take the mask away. But I'm terrified of what would be revealed if I did today. Masquerade ball, where nobody's true, we're all wearing faces that hide what we do. Masquerade ball, the perfect place to hide all my heartbreak behind this false face. There's a club with velvet ropes at the entrance, where they decide who gets to enter in. I stood outside those ropes with a desperate hope that someone would let me begin a life that was different from the poverty I was born into, the tenement rooms. But the velvet ropes were a boundary between me and a world of different blooms. Velvet ropes and velvet hearts, where the wealthy come to play their parts. I was outside looking in at the light, at the women with diamonds, dressed so right. Velvet ropes and velvet hearts, keeping out the world that falls apart. I wanted so badly to belong, to stay inside the velvet song. A man came up to me outside the entrance. He was well-dressed, distinguished, and old. He said, I like girls who have a hunger, who are desperate enough to be controlled. He took me past those velvet ropes, past the rope that had kept me away. I thought I'd achieved my desperate hopes. I thought I had found a different way. Inside the club was glittering and golden, everything I'd imagined it would be. I felt so beautiful, so alive, so bold then. I thought I'd finally been set free. But the people there looked through me like I was a ghost, like I didn't exist. They could see I was just hired help, just me, a girl who was playing in the abyss. The thing about velvet ropes is that they divide the world into those who belong and those who don't. And a girl can pass through, but she can't hide the fact that her presence is just a performance. The velvet rope doesn't go away just because you've been taken inside. It's still there, marking you as a mistake, someone who passed through just for the night. The man kept me for about a year, taking me to that club night after night. I'd wear the jewelry he bought me, appear to be his companion, his arm ornament tight. But I was still outside, still behind the invisible velvet ropes that divided the real people from people like me, the women who were rented and provided. One night another girl came with him, a girl younger, more beautiful, new. I understood then that I'd been so dim that I thought he was keeping me true. He was just a collector of objects, of women to display and then replace. was just one in a collection of temporary smiles and pretty face. I left him and went back to poverty, to the tenement rooms where I began. But I'll never forget the sorrowful victory of being inside the velvet world of man. I learned that the ropes don't divide the people from things, they divide those who know they're being used from those who are too broken to decide. Velvet ropes and velvet hearts, keeping people, keeping them apart. They call it the velvet, and it's lined with all my sins, where the beautiful and broken come to dance before they end. The bartender's pouring poison in a crystal glass so clean, and I'm watching every couple dancing in a love scene that's obscene. There's a woman at the table with her diamonds catching light. She's pretending not to notice when her husband stays all night with a girl who's got a secret written in her reddened eyes. And the band keeps playing louder so nobody hears the lies. Midnight at the velvet, where the decent people go to be indecent gently underneath the velvet glow, where the lights are always low enough to hide what you have done, and the music keeps on playing till the midnight's finally gone. Midnight at the velvet, it's a church for the damned, where confessions taste like cocktails and repentance is unplanned. I remember when I came here just to watch the dancing crowd. Now I'm center of the scandal. Now I'm dressed in indigo shroud. Every man who passes knows exactly what I'll do. They can see it in my shoulders and the way I look at you. I came here as an angel. Now I'm everything they blame. I came here with ambition. Now I'm famous for my shame. Let them stare, let them judge me. Let them whisper as I pass. I'm a fixture at the velvet, baby, poured in liquid glass. When the sun comes up tomorrow, I'll be sleeping somewhere strange, in a room I've never seen before, with a man whose name I'll change. The velvet will be empty in the quiet morning light, but it'll be alive again, waiting for the night. And I'll come back here still wondering if it's it's living or it's death. If I'm dancing toward redemption, or just dancing to my last breath. Velvet doesn't judge, it just takes you in its arms and dresses up your poison in its velvet, smooth charms. Midnight at the Velvet, where the decent people go to be indecent gently underneath the velvet glow, where the lights are always low enough to hide what you have done, and the music keeps on playing till the midnight's finally gone. Midnight at the Velvet, it's a church for the damned, where confessions taste like cocktails and repentance is unplanned. Came to this bar to drink until the past is ours, but whiskey won't remember. It just adds another problem. I order bourbon neat, watch the amber catch the light, and hope this glass of liquid will erase your smile tonight. The bartender knows my story, knows it very well. Pours me shot after shot and says, "You know him, hell. I should have seen the danger in the way you moved your hand. Should have known that loving you would leave me broken, damned. Whiskey won't remember your name or face away. It won't take back the laughter or the words you didn't say. Whiskey won't remember how you held me close and warm, but it sure remembers everything that came before the storm. There's a woman on the bar stool, bottle to her lips. She smells like loss and sadness, like the ashes of dead ships. We don't exchange our stories, but we know each other's pain. Two ghosts who came to drown in sorrow's domain. The bottle empties slowly, like my reservoir of tears, and all the liquid courage can't subtract the missing years. The clock upon the wall moves slower than a dying breath. This bar becomes my church. This liquor's kind of death, but not the kind that's final. No, it's slow and it's prolonged. I sip away the moments where your memories grown strong. I should stumble out these doors when morning comes around, but whiskey won't remember that I've tried before to run. So I'll sit here in the darkness, waiting for the dawn, and order one more drink to help me carry on. Whiskey won't remember your name or face or way. It won't take back the laughter or the words you didn't say. Whiskey won't remember how you held me close and warm, but it sure remembers everything that came before the storm. The carousel is turning, though there's no one around. The horses are moving without making a sound. I'm riding the white one like I did as a child, when the world seemed like wonder and everything wild. The mirrored panels are reflecting the moon, making the night feel like Carnival June. The music is playing, but it's stretched out and slow, like time has been broken by the evening's ebb and flow. The brass pole is cold underneath my small hand. This carousel's becoming my final last stand. The horses are galloping, yet standing quite still. This paradox taking my breath and my will. The carousel at midnight is a ghostly delight, where the past comes alive and it holds me so tight. Round and around and around I go, on a horse made of memories I can't let go. The carousel's spinning, I'm going insane, on a ride that's eternal, filled with exquisite pain. The rings that I'm reaching for are always just far, too distant to touch, but they're guiding my star. I remember my father pushing me faster and fast, saying, hold on, make this childhood last. But the childhood is over, the father is gone, yet the carousel's still spinning on and on. The horses have faces, the faces have eyes. They're watching me, judging me, reading my lies. The carousel's universe is beginning to sway between what was real and what slipped away. I'm the only one riding, I'm the only one here on a carnival ride that I can't disappear. The music is getting even slower now. It's barely a whisper, it's almost a vow that I'll ride this forever, that I'll never depart, that this carousel's painted itself on my heart. The horses keep turning, they're turning for me, like the only kind of freedom I'm ever going to see. As dawn is approaching, the music grows faint, the carousel showing all of its paint. I'm pulling the horse rope, but I cannot get off. This midnight carousel has become my coffin, but maybe that's alright. Maybe that's best, to be spinning forever, to never find rest. The carousel at midnight is a ghostly delight, where the past comes alive and it holds me so tight. Round and around and around I go, on a horse made of memories I can't let go. I'm fading into nothing, and I'm not sure when it started. Maybe when you left me, or maybe when we parted. I'm becoming transparent, I'm becoming thin as air. I'm disappearing slowly, and I'm starting not to care. People that I know look right through me like I'm glass. They don't see that I'm diminishing, that I'm fading fast. They speak and never notice that I'm not responding back. I'm slipping into shadow, into empty, into black. Fading into nothing, that's the way that I'm going. Fading into nothing, and I've stopped from slowing. Fading into nothing, till I'm barely there. Just a whisper of the woman that nobody can hear. Tried to hold on to the person that I was, but she keeps slipping through my fingers. She's gone just because she couldn't handle all the heartbreak, all the pain and all the shame. So she's fading into nothing, disappearing like a flame. The world will not remember someone was never quite real. A woman who was fading couldn't possibly ever feel. I look into the mirror, and there's less there every day. The reflection's getting fainter, it's beginning to decay. My eyes are becoming hollow, my skin is turning gray. My hair is losing all its shine, my essence going away. I wonder if I'll disappear completely one day soon, if I'll become invisible beneath the light of moon, if I'll become a ghost who haunts the places where we met, a phantom of a person, a woman to forget. The people who have loved me, they've left me all the same. They didn't want to watch me fade. They couldn't bear the shame of being with a woman who was slowly disappearing, of being with a lover whose voice you couldn't hearing. I'm trying to hold on to the last bits of myself. I'm gathering the pieces that are left upon the shelf, but they're slipping through my fingers like sand through an hourglass. And I'm watching as the woman that I was becomes the past. There's comfort in the fading though. There's something rather sweet about becoming nothing, about accepting the defeat, of trying to be something when you're just too tired to be. When fading into nothing is the only way that's free. I'm fading into nothing, and I'm finally at peace. I'm becoming less and less until I'm finally released from the burden of existing, from the pain of having to stay. I'm fading into nothing, slowly, every day. The world will spin without me. It will hardly know I'm gone. A woman who was fading is not worth dwelling on. I'll be a distant memory of someone who was here. A whisper, just a whisper, disappearing into fear. But that's okay, I think. I'm tired of fighting to be real. I'm tired of trying to be something when I can't quite feel. So I'll continue fading into nothing, into air. And maybe that's the answer to the pain I couldn't bear. Fading into nothing, that's the way that I'm going. Fading into nothing, and I've stopped from slowing. Fading into nothing, till I'm barely there. Just a whisper of the woman that nobody can hear. The curtains are hanging in tatters and lace, tattered by storms and the passage of time's race. Once they were pristine and they framed in the light. Now they're just threads trying to hide all the blight. The wind's coming through the holes in the weave, telling me secrets about heartache and grief. I should hang new ones, I should fix them up right, but I like the destruction, the broken up sight. They match how I'm feeling, they match who I am. A woman in tatters, all covered in sham. The sunlight comes filtered through the rips and the tears, like golden reminders of all the lost years. Or torn lace curtains, you're beautiful still. Even broken, you're hanging here by your own will. You're framing the darkness and letting it in, just like the damage that's deep in my skin. I won't repair you, I'll let you decay. The torn lace curtains will have their say. Neighbors are judging, they've mentioned the sight of my ruined curtains hanging there every night. But I'm not concerned with their fashionable views. My curtains match perfectly all of my blues. The lace was expensive, imported from France, but now it's worth nothing but a desperate dance. The holes in the fabric are letting the air, the breath of the city come rushing in there. The rain on the windowsill gathers and drips on the torn lace curtains and on my fingertips. Maybe the damage is exactly what I need to remind me the pain is the only truth free. Sometimes I stand and I trace all the rips, like the journey of heartbreak against my lips. Each tear's a memory of something I lost. Each rip is the price that I paid for the cost of loving too deeply, of giving too much to a man who couldn't give me his touch. One day I might buy some new fabric so white and hang it in place of these rags of the night. But for now I'm content with the beautiful break, with the curtains that show me exactly what's fake. The worn lace is honest, it's truthful and real. It shows everyone exactly what I feel. Oh, torn lace curtains, you're beautiful still. Even broken, you're hanging here by your own will. You're framed in the darkness and letting it in, just like the damage that's deep in my skin. Neon signs are burning bright against the velvet black. Pink and purple, gold and red, they're lighting up the track. I'm walking down the boulevard in my best dress and heels, trying to convince my body that the heartbreak isn't real. There's a cigarette between my lips, the smoke is curling up. I'm sipping at a cocktail in a crystalline cup. The neon reflects off my skin, turns me into something strange, a creature born of longing and of necessary change. Neon and cigarettes, that's my love affair. The only thing that's constant in this cold and hostile air. Neon and cigarettes burning through the night, two addictions and a symphony of artificial light. The diner sign is sizzling, a 50-foot display of everything that's temporary in a transitory way. I take a seat at the counter, order coffee black and hot, and watch the neon pulse outside like my forgotten heart. Cigarette smoke mingles with the glow of colored fire, and I become something weightless, something born of pure desire. There's a bartender mixing drinks beneath a flickering sign. His face is made of shadow and regret and aged wine. He doesn't ask my story, doesn't care about my pain. He just keeps filling glasses while the neon glows insane. I watch the reflection in the window of the bar. The woman staring back is someone I don't know or are. The neon makes her beautiful, the cigarette makes her cool. The loneliness that's burning is the fire, I'm the fuel. I used to think that love was like the soft and gentle dawn, But now I know it's neon, burning every night and on. Relentless and electric, searing through your very core. And I'll keep walking toward it, always wanting something more. The cigarette burns down until it's nearly at my hand. I stub it out against the bar and make my final stand. But there's another one already waiting to be lit. The neon sign's already calling. I can't quite resist. Neon and cigarettes, that's my love affair. The only thing that's constant in this cold and hostile air. Neon and cigarettes, burning through the night to addictions in a symphony of artificial light. There's a lighthouse burning at the mouth of the bay, spinning its beacon through the night and the day. I've been walking this harbor for 40 years long, searching the darkness for some kind of song. The keeper went blind, but he stays at his post, tending the light that saves ships and ghosts. I understand better now what it means to keep on shining through all the extremes. Oh, lighthouse at the harbor, burning bright and true, guide me through the shadows to something that's new. Your light is steady when my heart's tossed and torn. Keep your beacon burning till the break of the morn. Lighthouse at the harbor, show me the way through the fog and the sorrow toward the light of day. My lover left on a ship headed south. The keeper said, girl, it's best you not doubt. Every ship I've guided came back to this shore. Some took longer, but they all came before. So I waited in patience by the pilings of wood, believing in the lighthouse the way that I should. The seasons came changing like the tides coming in, and I held on to hope, though it wore mighty thin. One morning the fog broke like a prayer answered true, and there came a vessel cutting through the blue. But when it landed and I saw that face, the years had rewritten him in time and in grace. He was older and weathered, not the boy that I knew, but the lighthouse was shining and we started anew. Now we tend to the light together, you and me, two broken souls burning for the lost at sea. The lighthouse don't judge if you've wandered away, it just keeps on burning night after day. And that's all that love is, if you boil it down right, just a steady commitment to shining your light. There's a young couple walking past the beacon today, holding hands in that lost, stumbling way. And I think of the distance between who we were and how the lighthouse kept us from drifting for shore. The keeper still tends it, though his eyes can't see clear, just moves by the rhythm of a 40-year year. And I'm tending my light in the ways that I can, for all of the lovers like that harbor man. Oh, lighthouse at the harbor, burning bright and true, guide me through the shadows to something that's new. Your light is steady when my heart's tossed and torn. Keep your beacon burning till the break of the morn. Lighthouse at the harbor, show me the way through the fog and the sorrow, toward the light of day. I was just a girl when I'd wake before dawn to watch the dock workers come and go. My father was one of them, a man worn and drawn, with calluses on his hands, with nowhere to go. He'd leave before the sun came up, with his lunch pail and his weary soul. He'd come back after sunset, and I'd light a cup of coffee that had become cold. Dock workers at dawn, breaking their backs, loading and unloading, stacking and stacking, for wages that barely could feed all their kids, while the owners grew fat off the work they did. Dock workers at dawn, anonymous men, your faces are blurred, but I remember them. The way that the sun rose over your shoulders as you aged right in front of me, growing older. My father never complained about the work. He just took it as the way that things had to be. But I could see the resignation, see the shirk of his spirit, see the way it wasn't free. He'd speak about the sea sometimes, about the boats that came in from foreign lands. And he'd tell me all these stories and these rhymes about the cargo held in weathered hands. One morning he didn't come home. The police came and told us why. He'd fallen into the water, he was gone, drowned beneath the sunrise sky. They said it was an accident, but I knew better. I knew he'd been tired of the endless load of waking up before the dawn in any weather, of walking down that same gray road. Dock workers know something about mortality that the rest of us never have to face. They know that any day could be the final one, that the water's always there, cold and dark. They know that their bodies are just tools that will eventually break down and fail. And I think maybe that's why they accept the endless hours, the endless trail. I brought my own sons to the dock at dawn when they were old enough to understand. I wanted them to see where their grandfather had gone, to see the way the ships would expand across the horizon, carrying away the life that we were living down below. I wanted them to know that every single day was a choice to stay or go. But they both left as soon as they could. They got educations, they got out of the city. They swore they'd never work the docks, they said they would find something better, something with more pity. For the workers who stayed behind, bent over with the weight of generations, but they never came back, they never relent to the call of the morning dock stations. Now I'm old and I come down here myself, just to watch the dock workers' new faces. Young men, same as my father, worn down themselves by the endless repetition of the same places. And I wanna tell them, leave, get out, while you still can, while you're still young. But they won't listen, they'll work without, until their final sunset comes. Dock workers at dawn, breaking the night with their hands. I've been wearing black for 40 years now, since my husband passed into the grave. I suppose I could change my clothes somehow, but the black has become all I crave. It's a uniform of my perpetual mourning, of my status as a woman without a man. The widow's weeds, the death, the dawning of a life that I don't understand. Widow's weeds and winter winds, carrying away the life I've been. Dressed in black from head to toe, in a morning that will never let me go. Widow's weeds and winter winds, marking where my old life ends. Black is the color of my life, forever, always someone's wife. My husband died when we were young, just 55, a heart attack. I had our whole lives still unsung. I had dreams of getting my love back, but instead I became defined by death, by his absence, by the widow's name. With every single final breath, he handed me a life of shame. People looked at me differently after. They whispered behind their hands. The woman who'd lost her source of laughter, the woman who no longer had demands. I was pitied and simultaneously shunned. I was a cautionary tale, a sight of what could happen, of being undone by the loss of a man, by his flight. The winter wind knows about grief. It blows through the spaces that were full. It carries away what brought relief and leaves behind something dull. The widow's weeds are meant to show that you're suffering, that you belong to the category of women who now know that a woman is only complete with a man strong. I had offers, marriage proposals, from men who wanted to fill the void, but I couldn't imagine the proposals of recreating what we'd enjoyed. So I stayed in my black, stayed in my grief, stayed in the role that society gave. It was easier to live in disbelief than to try to be something brave. Our friends stopped inviting me to dinner. Couples don't want a single woman near. It's a threat, it's a reminder that marriages end, that death is here. I became invisible in my black dress, a ghost in the city, a phantom, a shade. I went to church to confess and confess my rage at the life that death had made. I'm 83 years old now, and I'm still wearing black, still wearing these weeds. The winter wind still teaches me how to be alone, what loneliness needs. this role. And maybe that's the price of the tears of a woman who lost control. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I'd taken off the black that first year. If I'd let myself fall and been flapping my wings, becoming someone nuclear. But I think I would have been condemned by society, by the church, by my fears. And so I stayed in the black, condemned to be a widow for all these years. Widows, weeds, and winter winds carrying me to the place where he's been. The nightclub on the corner stays open past midnight, where the silhouettes of dancers cut through cigarette smoke. I was one of those women dancing in the spotlight, my body the instrument, my life the joke. The men would sit and watch us like we were merchandise, like we were something to be owned, to be had. But we knew the truth about the paradise of the nightclub, that it was all sad. Nightclub silhouettes dancing in the dark, where everybody plays a part, where the women are just shadows on the wall, and the men are shadows too, after all. Nightclub silhouettes, nobody's real, just outlines of what it feels to be alive and broken and desired, in a room where the lights never expire. I danced there for 15 years without ceasing. Every night the same motions, same song. My body became mechanical, got no caressing, real love, because I belonged to the throng. The men came and went, they all looked the same, with their slick back hair and their empty eyes. They called me names and called me by no name, and they all believed their own lies. There was a girl who danced next to me, who was younger, maybe 25. She had dreams of being something more, being free of the nightclub, of just trying to survive. I told her, child, you better get out now while you still got something left inside. But she just smiled and took a bow to the men and their predatory pride. The nightclub is a place where time stops, where the world outside doesn't exist, where the music plays and it never stops, and everybody's living in the mist of a dream that there's somebody else, somebody beautiful, somebody free. But the silhouettes know better than to tell the truth of what we're meant to be. I left the nightclub when my body failed me, when the men stopped looking, when they turned away, when youth abandoned me and age assailed me, and I realized I had nothing left to say. I got a job as a cleaning woman in that same nightclub where I danced. I mopped up the blood and tears and semen of all the girls still caught in the trance. I watched the new dancers come and go, young and beautiful and naive. I tried to tell them what I know, that they're being used, that they should leave, but they didn't listen. They were dazzled by the lights, by the music, by the men. Their dreams and their hopes got up and frazzled, but they came back night after night again. The nightclub closed one winter night. There was a fire, nobody knows how. The silhouettes burned in the light, in positions of ecstasy somehow. And I thought maybe it was mercy to let them go, to let them rest from the endless performance, the search, the frenzy of being desired, diminished and pressed. Nightclub silhouettes dancing in the smoke forever. There's a bottle on my nightstand that I started 3 months ago when you walked out that door. I take a sip and feel a little less departed from the woman that I was before. The bourbon burns exactly like you're leaving, like the lies you told me to my face. It numbs the part of me that can't stop grieving for the love I threw away and left no trace. Bourbon and regret, that's how I spend my time. One glass for every promise that was mine, one glass for every dream I should have kept. Bourbon and regret, bourbon and regret, the only toast I'll ever raise again is to the mistakes I'll never understand. grandmother warned me about men like you. Said, baby, keep your heart up in a safe. But I was young and certain that the truth was that your love could be my saving grace. I gave you everything I ever had, my body, baby, and my soul on top. You took it, smiled, and told me I was mad for thinking that your loving wouldn't stop. The bourbon tastes like bitter orange peel, like every tender lie that fell from your lips, like every time you swore that this was real while you were seeing her on those little trips. I found a lipstick on your collar once. I should have left you then, should have known, but I just poured myself another shot and slumped into the arms of regret, all alone. There's a moment when the bourbon kicks in hard, when you stop feeling everything you felt before, when the world gets soft and strange and strangely scarred, and you can't remember what you're drinking for. That's the moment that I live for every night, when the pain gets blurred and smooth and far away, when I can almost pretend that you were right, that leaving me was something you'd regret one day. But morning always comes with clarity and a headache that could split a stone. I look at myself in the mirror, barely able to recognize this face I own. This face that's aged 10 years and 12 short months, that's weathered, worn, and fading into gray. And I pour another glass, another generous hunt for the bourbon to wash my thoughts away. The bottle's almost empty now, I notice. The label's peeling off, the glass is worn, and soon I have to face the long, slow erosion of sobriety, the light of dawn. They say the only thing that time will heal is the heart that's shattered into dust. But time just tastes like bourbon, time is real, only in this bottle. Bourbon and regret and rust. Bourbon and regret. Bourbon and regret. The only friends I'll ever have left. There's a bottle on the table and a cigarette that burns, watching smoke make pictures of the way he used to turn his head to look at me with eyes like broken glass. Now I'm sitting in this corner, watching moments fade too fast. The bartender knows my story, knows it by heart now. Oh, pours another whiskey, never has to ask me how. My lipstick's bleeding slowly on the rim of something sweet, while the piano man plays requiems for love that can't compete. Blue smoking memories, that's all I got tonight. Dancing in the darkness where nothing's ever right. His name is written in the ashes on the floor, and I'll be waiting here till sunrise shuts the door. Blue smoking memories, they haunt me like a ghost. The things I love the most are the things that hurt the most. They say that time's a healer, but they've never lost a soul to someone made of lightning and a voice that made you whole. The clock above the bar face keeps on running through the night, while I'm dissolving slowly in the neon's pale blue light. I could walk away, I could find someone new, but these arms remember the way he held me through every rotten morning, every twisted lie. I'd choose this pain 1,000 times. I'd rather burn than die. The mirror shows a stranger with mascara running black. There's a woman in there somewhere that he threw away and never looked back. So I'll stay here in the shadows where nobody knows my name, and let the blue smoke take me, let it swallow up my shame. Blue smoking memories, that's all I got tonight. Dancing in the darkness when nothing's ever right. His name is written in the ashes on the floor, and I'll be waiting here till sunrise shuts the door. Blue smoking memories, they haunt me like a ghost. The things I love the most are the things that hurt the most.